Well, the rice in the bean hole is coming along. This is probably close to 100 days since it's grew. I didn't plant this. This is volunteer from last season. But I think water came off here around middle of April. April, May, June, July, middle of August, 4 months, yeah. Maybe 120 days. Some of this is even starting to brown up a little bit, reaching maturity. These plants aren't as big as the stuff I planted 66 days ago over in the big hole, but they're making food. Some of the seed heads are kind of small. I am sure that is due to competition from all the other weeds, but all the other competition is natural vegetation that makes duck food. Smartweed, barnyard grass, yellow nutsedge is coming up in several spots. So, I mean, I think it's going to produce food for ducks. The barnyard grass is starting to grow a little faster, or become taller than the rice, which I expected actually, because last year right over here it was head high. It was 6 feet tall. So thought I heard a wood duck. You know, it's coming in. This is going to make some duck food. Remember, naturalized. Didn't plant it this year. This is all stuff that has grown up on its own, either natural vegetation like the smartweed and barnyard grass, or the the rice that grew up volunteer. So I can mow it. It's naturalized. I can mow it. So that's going to sweeten this up quite a bit. So that's how we're looking in the old bean hole right now. I'm going to look around some other stuff, and if I see anything interesting, I will let you know. Well, that counts as something interesting. This pin oak tree that I'm standing under, probably about 40 or 50 feet tall, is loading up on acorns. And if you're not familiar with the pin oak, it makes real small, almost like pea-sized, a little bit bigger, pea-sized acorns, which ducks will eat. I have several within sight of me right now. This is a good sized one. I have 3 right there. These 2 closest trees that look like they're dying are ones the beavers have worked on. Just past it is another pin oak tree. It's not as big as this one. In the last 3 years, it has not made any acorns. So this next year after the season, there's this water maple that's right next to it that I'm going to take out. There's a couple of them there. I'm going to take those out, see if I can free up, get a little less competition for that guy over there, even though this one right behind me has tons of competition. I don't know, whatever. I would say, or some might say, and I think you'd be right, a tree has to get a few years old before it matures enough to make acorns. But there's one over here that, at least based on the size of the trunk, is smaller, and it made acorns last year. So I don't know, maybe it's a bad one. Can an oak tree be sterile? I have no idea. So but this one is. There'll be water right up to the base of it over here. So this will be dropping acorns in the water. And I think that's why last year the ducks were coming in there so good, because there is a giant pin oak tree back in there that was making acorns. So let's walk over here in front of the blind and get a view from that perspective. All right, so this is the view from the blind. And I thought I'd come here and talk about this today because several of you guys have made the very valid suggestion that I don't mow all of this. But as you look out through here, if I don't mow it, that barnyard grass can be 5-6 feet tall. The ducks want to see the water, and anything within the trees is in range. So this is about the size of your standard kill hole anyway. So I think I will have to go ahead and stick to my plan of mowing it all down, just because mowing part of it doesn't really do enough for me. The hole will not be large enough, visible enough. I remember last year I had big stands of barnyard grass up through here, and they stayed tall all season, as did a lot of the rice. That stuff was still standing up above the water well into January. So I'll stick with the plan. I'll mow it down. That's also with the billy goat I'm going to use. That will also cut up a lot of the buckbrush stumps, because that buckbrush wood is a pretty soft wood. They're about that big around. The billy goat will just eat those, no trouble. So Oh gosh, another quick update from the bean hole. I know all these are getting repetitive, but just trying to kind of give you guys a status as it goes so that if you're trying to do something similar, you can kind of follow the progression and see how things mature. I know a lot of us, myself in particular, get impatient, so it's nice to have a frame of reference to know how long this should take. So that's it for today in the old bean hole here from the blind. And please hit the subscribe button down there. Please, helps me out very much. I appreciate your support. As always, I'm Bruce, and you're watching Foul Play Outdoors.